Oh. What is up, guys? It's your boy Jelly and welcome back to another video. I'm feeling quite inspired today, so I thought I'd make a video on how I got into the fashion industry, how I'm progressing in the industry, and a little bit about myself. As you've probably all noticed, I have had a fresh, homemade lockdown trim. Fancied that trailer park trash look.
Just remember, Leahy, what comes around is all around.
But a little bit about myself. So I'm 24 years old. I've been in the fashion industry for around 4 years now. So I first got into fashion when I was like 14, 15 years old. More streetwear sort of fashion. I started skating when I was younger, so a lot of my fashion sense has been rooted from the skate culture, streetwear culture. That's mainly how I started getting into it. Obviously, it's now been 10 years since I first started caring about what I wore. I've progressed a lot. My style has changed a lot. I started to find a love for more high-end, but as I've said previously in my other videos, I will always have a love for streetwear because that's always been my route. I still skate, and obviously I don't skate in high-end garments. I still skate in a lot of streetwear. It all started off when I was 18 years old. I was always into fashion. I came out of college. I didn't do very well at all in my A-levels. I think I only passed one, which was media production, which is why my videos are so fucking sick. I was a lost cause really. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I wanted to go. All I know is I didn't want to go to uni. I wanted to work straight away. I was so sick of education. I just wanted to go straight into the working life, but I still had no idea what I wanted to do until I was offered a great opportunity from a family member to come and work for their construction business. Yes, they may not look like much, but man can lift. I can. I'm weak as hell. I started off as a trainee quantity surveyor. So that means I dealt a lot with numbers, statistics. I know this probably isn't interesting you too much because it's construction and you're probably watching this because you love fashion, the same way I love fashion. But yeah, I had this great opportunity, and honestly, like working in an office and working in a different industry gave me a lot of skills. I mean, I currently study fashion buying and merchandising, which is quite like largely number based. So working in construction and working with numbers has helped me massively in what I do today. 2 years after that, unfortunately, I was made redundant, and unfortunately, the family member who took me on unfortunately passed away. I was very close to him, and I'll never forget the last conversation I ever had with him was he basically pulled me in and he was like, look mate, construction isn't your thing, you're basically shit at it. Go out there and do something that you love, do something that you're passionate about, and that has stuck with me through the whole of my journey. The only reason I've progressed and the only reason that I've put so much into it is because how motivated I am by it, how enthusiastic and passionate I am about the industry. If you're not passionate about the industry, if you don't love it, if it's just more of a hobby, then same goes with like all industries, is that I wouldn't chase it as a full-time job because you've got to remember you will be doing that for the rest of your life. Okay, not necessarily the rest of your life, but turning a hobby into a job can sometimes damage your motivation, how much you love that, how much you loved words, how much you loved doing that as a hobby. If you're doing it every day, sometimes you might just lose your interest in it quite rapidly. So yeah, I had that last conversation with my family member. I took it in, it hit me differently, but I then started carrying on in construction because at this point I was midway through a construction degree. I wasn't doing that well in it, but I started, this different construction job where I became a technical drawer. So basically civil engineering, CAD technician, working very closely with like design software. Again, I'm not the most creative person, but it gave me another entrance into learning another field that could be useful within the field I'm in now. I mean, I was there for about a year, and I just remember on my breaks, when I finished work, before I started work, I was always just like checking online fashion Facebook groups, I was checking Vogue Runway, and it wasn't until it hit me, I was like, this is something that I love and this is something that I want to succeed in. So I walked into my local high-end fashion boutique. I'm good friends with him anyway, and he basically said, oh, what are you doing at the minute? Are you working? And I said, yeah, you know, I'm working fairly well. I've got a great job, it pays really well. And he was like, oh, it's a shame, we got a sales assistant position going. So he told me how much I could be earning, which was minimum wage, shop floor assistant wage. And bearing in mind, in the construction industry, I was earning, you know, a decent amount of money. And I sort of laughed it off. I was like, there is no way I can take this sort of pay cut. You know, I'm earning really good money, I'm getting on pretty well, and if I carried this on in the future, I'd be quite successful. So I told him, sort of laughed it off. I was like, nah, sorry mate, not for me. Until I got home, I slept on it, and I was like, this could be the start of my next career. If I'm so highly motivated by it, I really want to pursue it, I really want to push it. So I went in there the next day and I said, yeah mate, I'll take it. So basically overnight, I took a big pay cut, but I knew it was something that I wanted to progress in. So at this point, I knew, coming into the fashion industry, I knew what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to become a fashion buyer. One, because I'm good with numbers. Two, my biggest asset is sort of like product knowledge, brand knowledge. So I went in there. So within 2 to 3 years of working in construction, I decided to drop it all and chase something that I love. And that is something I cannot recommend enough to you, is that if you're passionate and motivated by something, just go out and chase it. Just go out and do it. Because if you're passionate and you're motivated, you will succeed and you will go far with it. A lot of it takes networking. I will be making a video in the future about how to network and how I personally network and how I've gone to meet so many creative individuals. So I essentially worked in this little boutique store full-time for, I think it was about 8 months. And after that, I got promoted to work in the flagship store. And I was there for another 8 months as a full-time sales assistant. And during this time, I was pushing to the directors and I was pushing to the store how much I wanted to be a buyer. I mean, I was a persistent little bastard, but I cannot tell you how much I wanted just to go out and experience a buying trip, to go check out the showrooms and, you know, take me to a completely different world. And I decided to go on a few little buying trips, and I mean, that gave me a taste of my future, and it kept pushing me to try harder, get on more, and just get on and do it, because honestly, it was the most amazing thing to me. I absolutely loved it. And after my first buying trip, I knew this was the job for me. There's literally nothing else in the world I ever want to do than do what I was doing. So time went by, and you know, you're hoping that you're going to be asked or a job will come up to progress even further. And then, yeah, 8 months later, so basically a year and a half into working at this boutique store, I was offered a store manager position at a different store. I mean, at this point, I'd gone from a sales assistant straight to a store manager from just determination, hard work, and pushing how much I loved the industry, and you know, and just staying motivated, keeping up with everything. And yeah, so I got promoted. I mean, store manager wasn't exactly the direction I wanted to go, but it was a, you know, huge step up, absolutely huge step up from sales assistant straight to a store manager. And during these times, I was still going on buying trips, and I was just getting all this amazing industry experience. And like I said previously, it just comes from motivation and passionate about the industry you're in. Just push for it. You know, if you really want something, you can just fucking grab it. And once you've got it, just do not let go. Just fucking go for it. I don't want to be this like cliche person where it's just do it, follow your dreams. But genuinely, if you love it, just fucking go out and get it, grab it. Because if you're passionate about it, you can achieve anything. And again, it comes with networking, is that people will see how passionate you are and how much you love it. It can take you such a long way. It can take you so far. So yeah, I became a store manager. Unfortunately, things started to get a bit stale, mate. Like, I cannot tell you how bad I wanted to become a buyer at this point, a junior buyer, assistant buyer. I just wanted to get on the buying team and I wanted to get into the buying department. You know, I messaged people on Facebook groups. I met people who had the dream job I always wanted, and I messaged them and they were like, just stick it out. You know, it's all about experience and you'll progress. But I just found myself stalemate, and unfortunately when I worked for a smaller company, there just wasn't the position to upgrade and be promoted into the buying department. But I was still being taken on buys. Honestly, the senior buyer of this company helped me out endlessly, and it wasn't until January last year they took me to Paris Fashion Week, and I had the time of my life. I cannot tell you how much it meant to finally get to such a big fashion week, to go to all these trade shows, to see all these brand showrooms. It was honestly the most amazing thing to me. But I found myself, you know, becoming uninspired. I mean, this was a year in at this point. So I've been working for this company close to 3 years now. And yeah, I just felt like I wasn't really going anywhere. I was becoming uninspired. Every day started to become mundane. And it wasn't until after I got back from Paris Fashion Week in the January, I had a word with the senior buyer and I was like, you know, is there any way I can progress? And he said, unfortunately, where it's just such a small company, they only need the one buyer for everything, which sort of like knocked me back a bit. So I was like, I started to chase my dream. I progressed so fast, and then all of a sudden I've hit a brick wall and it's just completely stopped, as in my progression has stopped. So completely on a whim, I never had plans to go to university. I never really wanted to go to university. I was pretty much done with education. But I thought, you know, it's a completely different career path. I love it. I'm so motivated by it. So let's just give it a go. I, on a whim, applied to 5 different universities for fashion buying and merchandising. Obviously UAL, LCF being my top choice, mainly because I know it's more of a status thing, but coming out of that university opens up so many doors, because unfortunately in the fashion industry, a lot of things is a status thing. I applied for all the top 3 London universities and, you know, Cardiff and Southampton. And truthfully, I told myself, I sort of worked myself into it, is that I was not going to go to university unless I got an offer from UAL LCF, because I thought it was just too much of a big risk to take on. You know, if I went to Southampton and if I went to Cardiff, it just doesn't open up the doors. And being in London opens up so many doors for the fashion industry. And I will never forget, bearing in mind, I don't have any A-levels. I done alright at GCSE. And I got an unconditional offer from LCF UAL to start on the fashion buying and merchandising course. It's probably one of the greatest moments of my life. I was outside on break and I got an email through saying I'd been accepted, and I was just absolutely flabbergasted. I could not fucking believe it. It was just, it was more progress. And I suppose when you're motivated and you're passionate about something, you just want to fucking grab it, and you want to just keep, you know, you want to keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And the problem is, which with my personality, which can sometimes be a con, is that I just keep just going and going and going and going. And sometimes I need to sit back, take a look where I am and be like, no, you know, you're all right, you're doing well. Man's trying to record, you're trying to record, bro. So it is now March 2020. I mean, not whilst I'm recording, but as terms of the story goes, it's now March 2020. Lockdown has just kicked in, and honestly, it was probably the best thing for me in the first lockdown, because I just had this university offer. I was feeling absolutely exhausted from work, and again, sort of getting myself down because I hadn't been going anywhere. And getting this university offer, I just wanted to skip forward the first 6 months and get straight to it. During the first lockdown, I was just staying really motivated. I started a podcast with my friends about fashion, which has now led me onto this YouTube channel. And I think it's just all about, like, you know, if you've got a goal, just, you know, try and work on everything you can to improve yourself to reach that. you know, if you find yourself quite timid or socially awkward, work on how you approach people, how you talk to people. You know, if you find yourself that, you know, this morning I woke up and I felt, oh, you know, I'm so tired, I just can't be asked to do this YouTube video or whatever. I got in the shower, I got myself prepared, and I just pushed for it. And now I'm talking about it, I realise like how motivated I am, you know, and how enthusiastic I am about this industry, because I'm getting so excited just talking to you guys about it. Comes October time, I moved to London. Honestly, the best thing in the world, especially like how much I love the industry and how close I am to it now. Lockdown sort of got me stuck. The lockdown in October, that's when it started hitting me a bit, because I just moved to London. I was so eager and excited to get out, meet people, again, improve myself, so I can progress higher, faster. And yeah, I basically got here and it was stagnant. It was absolute stalemate. University had started, I'm only going in once a week, and then Zoom calls, and staying motivated online is really difficult, like especially being in a creative industry, being stuck in your room staring at a screen, and then going to bed and then waking up and doing it all over again. I mean, it's absolutely horrid. I find it really difficult. I mean, by the time you watch this video next week, I'm finally getting back in class for university, which helps massively. Got some wicked projects on at the minute. Again, the university I go to, we're working with Levi's on a sustainability project, social responsibility, social identity. Again, starting this YouTube video has helped me massively to stay motivated, to stay inspired, because I'm still feel connected to the industry, and you know, talking to you guys, I just feel like it keeps me motivated, it keeps me pushing for more. And you know, I think it doesn't matter what industry you are in, just if you're passionate about it, again, I know it's the 100th time I say it, if you're passionate about it, do everything you can to push forward for it. Everything. I mean, it's worked for me, and I come from a small town, right? I come from a very small town in the southwest. Fashion isn't really a thing there. We had a small little community. We still got a little small community there, but they're the guys that kept pushing me. And you know, I'm now here in the big city doing what I love. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. I got into one of the best fashion universities in the world with no A levels, just experience. Just go out there and fucking chase it. You deserve it. Everyone deserves what they want to do. Don't go down a route because you feel like it's the one you have to take, or you know, this is a successful path, I'll take this one. You define what successful is. Successful could be with money, successful could be, you know, my term of successful, it isn't the money. My term of successful is being great at something that I love and something I want to feel like I'm good at. That is my definition of what I want as success. But yeah, that leads me to now. I'm in my first year at university. I'm a late starter, I'm 24 years old, but I'm absolutely loving it. And it's been able to keep me happy, motivated and inspired during this lockdown. I mean, this lockdown's taking its toll for sure, but I'm still here, I'm still pushing for it, and I still want it. So many great people I'm still yet to meet, so many, like, you know, people that I already know, which I want to meet up with. And yeah, you know, life is good, life is great. Just keep on top of what you're doing, keep progressing. You know, we're allowed to have these days where we don't want to do anything. We're allowed to have these days where, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, yeah, today's just not for me. You're allowed that. But all in all, just don't let it get you in the long run. All right, you've got it. Jenny believes in you. Peace.